The Asian Individual Chess Championships 2025 Open Round 6 witnesses a strategic Petrov's defense millennium attack as Zemlyanskii faces Jiang. On e4. On e5. Knight f3. Threatening knight takes e5. Knight f6 played by Jiang. Knight takes e5. On d6. Threatening pawn takes e5. Knight f3 played by Zemlyanskii. Knight takes e4 entered in Petrov's defense millennium attack. Bishop d3. Threatening bishop takes e4. Knight f6 played by Jiang. King castled kingside. Bishop e7. On c3. King castled kingside. Bishop c2. Knight c6. On d4. On d5. Rook e1. Bishop g4. Bishop g5. Rook e8. Knight bd2. On h6. Threatening pawn takes g5. Bishop e3 played by Zemlyanskii. Queen d7. On h3. Threatening pawn takes g4. Bishop f5 played by Jiang. Knight e5 it is novelty move. Threatening knight takes d7. Bishop takes c2 played by Jiang. Queen takes c2. Queen d6. On f4. Knight d7. Queen f5. Zemlyanskii is looking to play. Queen takes d7. Knight takes e5. Queen takes d6. Knight f3 check. Knight takes f3 and take decisive advantage. Knight takes e5 played by Jiang. On takes e5. Queen e6. Threatening queen takes f5. Queen f3 played by Zemlyanskii. Rook f8. Bishop f4. Bishop h4. Threatening bishop takes e1. Rook e2 played by Zemlyanskii. Zemlyanskii is looking to play. Knight f1. Knight e7. Knight e3. Rook a e8. On g3. Bishop g5. Bishop takes g5. On takes g5. Rook a e1 and put immense pressure on the opponent. Knight e7 played by Jiang. On g3. Threatening pawn takes h4. Queen g6 played by Jiang. Knight f1. Bishop g5. Bishop takes g5. Queen takes g5. Knight e3. On c6. On h4. Threatening pawn takes g5. Queen g6 played by Jiang. Rook f1. Zemlyanskii is aiming to play. Knight g2. On c5. On takes c5 and take decisive advantage. On f6 played by Jiang. Threatening pawn takes e5. On h5 played by Zemlyanskii. Threatening pawn takes g6. Queen g5 played by Jiang. Threatening pawn takes e5. On e6 played by Zemlyanskii. On f5. Jiang wants to play. On f4. Knight g4. On takes g3. Queen takes g3. Rook takes f1 check. King takes f1. Rook f8 check. King g1. Queen takes h5 and secure a stronghold in the game. Knight g2 played by Zemlyanskii. Queen g4. Queen takes g4. Pawn takes g4. Rook takes f8 check. Rook takes f8. Knight e3. Pawn g6. Threatening pawn takes h5. Knight takes g4 played by Zemlyanskii. King g7. Pawn takes g6. Pause the video and find the best move for Jiang. Knight takes g6 is a strong choice, since pawn e7, rook e8, knight e3, pawn h5, knight f5 check, king f6. Still Jiang is losing. Shifting to the main game. Pawn takes g6, rook e8. Slightly worse move played by Jiang. Rook f2. Zemlyanskii considers playing knight e5. Knight takes g6. Rook f7 check. King g8. Knight takes g6 and gain a significant edge. King takes g6 played by Jiang. Knight e5 check. King g5. Pawn g4. Pawn h5. Pawn takes h5. King takes h5. Rook f7. King g5. King f2. Pawn a5. Knight f3 check. King g4. Knight e5 check. King g5. Pawn a4. Pawn b6. Knight f3 check. King g4. Knight e5 check. King g5. King e2. Knight f5. Rook b7. Pawn c5. Rook takes b6. Pawn takes d4. Pawn c4. Threatening pawn takes d5. Pawn takes c4 played by Jiang. Knight takes c4. Knight g7. Rook b5 check. King f6. Rook takes a5. Knight takes e6. King d3. Rook b8. King c2. Zemlyanskii might go for rook d5. Rook c8. Pawn b3. Rook c5. Rook d7. Rook c6. Pawn a5. King f5. Rook d5 check and take decisive advantage. Knight f4 played by Jiang. Rook c5. Pawn d3 check. King c3. Rook f8. Pawn a5. A tough loss for Jiang, who resigned under pressure.